5. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Women in Motorsports. I'm Melinda Russell. I will be your host tonight. Thank you for tuning in with us. And if you're listening to this later, welcome. We are always happy to have you listen in any time of the day or night that works for you. And share this radio broadcast with your friends and family because we want everybody to know what we're doing, and we like to spread the word about women in motorsports. So my guests have changed a little bit for the evening. My guest originally had to cancel. She had a conflict. So I have two ladies who graciously, within the last, I'm going to say 45 minutes, have agreed to be on the show with me. And I think you're going to really enjoy hearing from them because they were part of a big event in Chicago last weekend, and they were both winners at that event. They've been women in motorsports for a while, and so we're going to hear their stories and hear about what they did over the weekend. So I want to introduce you to Jenny Zolper. Jenny won the grudge match against her husband, which ought to have been a lot of fun over the weekend. I can't wait to hear about that, and I'm glad she can hold that over him probably for the next year or so. And then we also have Michelle Mankiewicz. Hopefully, Michelle, I didn't say that too bad.
You got it.
Got it. So Michelle was the overall winner at the event over the weekend. It was sponsored by Car Chicks. My friend Jeanette owns the business Car Chicks. If you want to look that up online, she's got a great business going, and we really support her. And we're going to have her on our show here very soon. So, ladies, I'm going to let you take turns. So, Jenny, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get started in racing?
I got started back probably over 20 years when I met my husband. He was in the drag racing. I can honestly say I was a little Miss Priss, dresses and all.
And now you are the winner of a grudge match. That's awesome.
But as time went on, as a couple, that's something you do. I give a little, he gave a little, and I enjoyed the cars. I used our wedding money to buy a Demon that I have. It's more like a car show. But then a few years ago, I wanted to go fast. I wanted a big tire, 2 chassis. I just wanted to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am.
Awesome. So you live in Chicago. Chicago's a big area. Is that exactly where you live? Yeah. Okay.
Well, we live south of Chicago, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. And do you race? Do you typically race like somewhere every weekend, or what do you do as far as the racing arena? What are you involved in?
I've been trying to go to the 860 Index class up at Union Grove, Great Lakes Dragway.
Yeah.
So we tend to go there quite a bit just because everyone's so open and nice. We go to Route 66 a lot for our daughter who races as well.
Okay.
So, but I'm usually up at Great Lakes and she's at 66.
Okay. And how old is your daughter?
She's 10.
Oh, she's 10. Woo. Yes. And what does she race?
Junior dragster.
Okay. All right.
So all 3 of us were racing this weekend, I'm glad it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Everybody's going a different direction. When you said you like to go fast, I was at Martin Dragway over the weekend, which I told you about. And they had a Top Fuel dragster. I don't know the names of all of them, but anyway, it had a 2-seater. And I turned to my husband and I said, "Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat if my back wasn't in such bad shape." And I really would have done it. They chose some out of the crowd. And then when the car took off, I looked at my husband and said, "I think I changed my mind," because it literally knocked my phone out of my hands. It just shook me so bad. It was, oh my gosh, crazy loud. But I like to go fast too, but not anymore because my back won't take it. So, yeah. So, Michelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How old were you when you got started in racing? Where do you live? Where do you race? Why are you involved in racing?
Sure. So my name is Michelle Mankiewicz, and I'm from Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's a suburb kind of big city just outside of Milwaukee, about 20 minutes west of Milwaukee. And I got into drag racing. This is my 8th season drag racing. It's not anything that I grew up with or around, and I truly am in the sport because my best friend, Chris Singsheim, he's been racing for a little bit more than a couple decades, started with cars, went to bikes, and I was always the passenger on the back of his bike, and I learned how to ride one day and found a bike that suited me about a month after that and racing a couple months after that. So the rest, they say, is history. So I graduated from my first bike was a 2005 GSXR 600. We were just street riding last night, so that was fun. I still have it. And I primarily raced my 2006 Suzuki Hayabusa right now. So that's what I've been racing the last few years. Great Lakes Dragway is my home track. We do a lot of testing during the week there, events on the weekends, and then a lot of racing at Wisconsin International Raceway in Kaukauna.
Okay.
For a series that we do there, and we get to Byron a couple times a year. So our goal for the summer is to make it to a couple other tracks in the country just to see what they have to offer and have a little fun.
Right. So do you ever come to Martin, Michigan, where they have the drag races?
I've never been, no.
It's really nice.
Not yet.
20 minutes from my house, and I got an extra bedroom. So there you go. The offer stands. So
that's all I need.
check out their website and their schedule. They've got some Harley Davidson bike races coming up, and so my husband's all excited about that. So I got my motorcycle license at the age of 50. My first bike.
Awesome.
I was 50. I married a guy who had a motorcycle, second husband. I learned to ride on a Rebel, a Honda Rebel, in our front yard. And that lasted about maybe a couple months. And I'm like, this thing's too little. It doesn't go fast enough. And so then I had a Honda Shadow, which I should have never sold, but I did. And then I had a Honda VTX 1300 Retro.
Okay. I learned on a Suzuki Savage, which is kind of like a Sportster.
Yeah.
And the guys just put me in the middle of the road, and they said, go straight, stop at the end of the road, we'll come and get you, because I had never ridden a motorcycle in my life. And had my helmet on and everything, and they're like, the clutch will save you. They reminded me where the clutch and brakes were, and I went in a straight line, got to the end, put the blinker on, and turned the corner.
Yeah,
just running around the other side of the corner to make sure I was okay. And that's how I learned how to ride a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, see, you were a lot younger learning than I was, so I wasn't quite that brave. But yeah, there's nothing like being on a motorcycle. I love it. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So to make sure we have plenty of time, I want you to talk about the weekend and what you guys were involved in and where you were and what you did. And then if we have some time at the end, I've got some other questions I could ask you. So, Michelle, why don't you start and tell us, I know you were the overall winner. So where were you at? What were you doing? And how did you end up as the overall winner?
So Car Chicks has been around I've known of them since I got into racing. And I think the first event that I ran for them was in 2011. Okay. I'm not sure if there was anything before that, but that was the first one that I ran with them. That does a fantastic job of putting on really well-organized races. So this was the Battle of the Sexes race at Great Lakes Dragway. And so there was a pro class and a street class. The street class was vehicles. She even said street cars, race cars, motorbikes, 1150 and slower. And then the pro class was 1149 and faster. Okay. So they had a really good showing for the street class. And then for the pro class, it was a little bit smaller. But I jumped in the pro class. There was one other bike for the day, which is usually pretty unheard of for the races. There just aren't many women that race motorcycles in the area. Right. And we're always just trying to get more women out, especially on two wheels. Just come and try it, have fun, you'll love it. Yeah. So I jumped in that class. We got a couple of test runs, timed runs in. And then I got the bye for the first round because of my light. And then I obviously won the round after that. I raced a car. And so it turned out that like within the first, bit of eliminations. It was all friends. I mean, we all know each other real fast anyways.
Okay.
It was a bunch of friends racing together. I won the first round, went on to the that would have been semis then, and then into the finals with a friend of mine, Heather, it's her first season racing a motorcycle.
Okay.
So it was the two of us. We had our dial-ins and got our lanes and everything, and went after it. So she actually had her best pass to date on her motorcycle, and I ran a pass as best I knew how. So that got me the win in the pro class.
Okay.
And then I went on to race the winner of the street class, who is another girl that I know that's local here in Wisconsin, and took the win in that category also, which made me the overall winner. So it was a pretty good night of racing. It was a long day. It was well worth it.
I know it was a long day, and but that sounds like so much fun. So how fast was your pass? How fast do you go?
So it depends on what race I'm in or what event I'm running. For the Car Trick series, it's bracket racing with dial-ins. So I wasn't trying to burn down the house with any passes. I didn't spray the bike at all. It's a nitrous assisted motorcycle also. So I didn't spray any of the passes and just detuned it a bit to run a little bit slower passes, because I knew that none of the competition was trying to set the world on fire with their passes.
Yeah.
And so when you're bracket racing and when you're waiting for the person in the other lane, sometimes on Wednesday nights when we race, if I'm racing somebody that's running a 17-second car, I'm sitting for 7-8 seconds waiting to go. So I had a 940 dial-in and ran a little bit less than that. You got to leave a little bit for compensation. So that was my dial-in, and that's where I was on Saturday.
Okay. So do you know Chris Singsima?
Chris Singsime is my best friend. He's the one that got me into drag racing. Yeah.
He said Michelle is grudge in all caps. She won't tell, but I think you're doing good. You're sharing about yourself. You should talk highly of yourself. So that's pretty cool. So Jenny, tell us about what you did over the weekend at the Car Chicks event.
Well, it was a spousal grouch between me and my husband, because currently I hold the fastest in the house.
I knew that.
His fastest time is 8:53. Mine's 8:51. So
Uh-huh.
he's like, for 2 years, he's had enough. I'm done. I'm bringing out my car. We're going.
Yeah.
So he got his GTX together after 6 years of sitting.
Really?
Yes. And he was coming out to win. Bring it,
He's tired of hearing about you're the fastest.
Yes.
You're the best.
Okay. So overall, we spent 3 months of tearing out our motors, rebuilding, refresh. He went to go test and tune a week ago. Well, had some motor issues. We had to pull it back out the past week, rebuild, re-put in to make it for Saturday. We made it though.
Yeah.
It was best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
He got me on the first one because I forgot to do some adjustments because we had it fat from last year.
Okay.
But not the last 2 though.
Yeah.
I'm home crying.
Oh, poor guy. He's the one I should send the brownies to. Poor guy. So, yeah, I might have to send him something too, as being a good sport about the whole thing. But so
honestly though, overall we both had our best pass ever Saturday night on our last pass. So it's like a win-win for both of us, because this was the first time ever we lined up together and ran down the track.
And that's pretty cool to think that we've done that. It doesn't matter who won. That's
it don't.
To do. So what kind of car do you drive? Maybe you told me and I didn't hear it, but what were you driving?
I have a 72 Duster.
Okay.
And he's got the GTX, so.
And you were helping him in the garage and he was helping you, and knowing you were going to have to race against each other, but if you didn't get the cars there, it wasn't going to happen. So you had to help each other to get it going, right?
Right. And that's all we do. It's as long as we make it down the track safe.
Yeah.
Whether who wins, who doesn't, that's just an additive. But it was awesome. It was an awesome time that we got to run together for the first time ever. So
Yeah,
Yeah, there was so much hype about, there was Team Jenny, Team Joe, and so much hype about the races, and they showed up and put on a hell of a show. Like, they did not disappoint at all.
Yeah.
Joe got the first win. The girls were a little worried.
Oh, Jenny, the girls were worried. They shouldn't have been worried, right?
Everybody was on the line to see her, like, nearby to be able to see the final, and they drove the hell out of those cars. Like, it was a phenomenal pass to see. Neither one of them was going down without a fight.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. So I got to read you some comments. It says, Chris says, ask Jenny what the trophy says.
It says, we drilled a little thing that says, the fastest Zoper in the house. Also grudge match.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. And there's a Mike Kotas, Kotas. He said, my eyes still burn from Joe's car, or maybe I was crying from the guy losing. And then he said,
Mike is the guy that gets me in, like, the primo groove every time Chris and I are racing. He does the same thing for Chris. No matter where the track is, what conditions we have, he finds the spots.
Okay. All right. So he's hanging out with you guys. Then he said, that last race between you guys was nuts. You both drove the wheels off of those things. So thanks, Mike. Thanks, Chris, so much for commenting. You can keep commenting while we're talking, and I'll share it with the girls. Chris said, those cars are rowdy. I love that. So that's pretty cool. So how often does Car Chicks put on events like this? Is this just a once a year thing at Great Lakes? Is it always at Great Lakes, or what do you know about that?
This is
this is the first time that it's been back. I don't know that it's ever been at Great Lakes. It might have been. Okay. This is the first time though that it's been back in years, and I mean they've done series at Cordova and also at Byron. That's primarily where the Car Chicks races are. Okay. So we're happy to have it, at our home track in our backyard here too at Great Lakes this year. So next is Byron in, I want to say it's August.
Okay.
And that's the huge breast cancer fundraiser, and that's an awesome race. And then Cordova on October 13th, they've got awesome facilities. That's a great track to race at too.
Yeah, that could be a cold one, that one.
Could be.
And it could be 85 degrees too. You just never know. Yeah.
Hashtag Midwest.
Exactly. Yep. I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It could snow and be 65 the next day. You just never know. So I'm going to start with, Michelle, I'm going to ask you first this time. What is it about racing that makes you spend your money, your time, your weekends at the track instead of doing something else? What is it about?
It's just, it's a rush. It's an adrenaline rush. And it's about, these people aren't blood, but they're family. And it's about, this community that seems so big and nationwide, but really it's super small and a bunch of people helping each other out. And I'm a 7th grade teacher, and I've kind of got a little bit of OCD and liking things perfect. Yeah. What I like about racing is that it's imperfectible. And there are so many different variables, even from time to time that you're racing. It can be a Wednesday night, and that can be different than the race on a Saturday. It's just that it's always different. You're always pushing yourself, and there are no limits. You can change. Chris has even had the same bike forever, and it's changed so many times, and there's so much yet to do to my bike, and it's always evolving. So it's a load of fun.
Right. So Jenny, same question. Why are you and your husband, involved in racing? Now your daughter, you're going 3 different directions. You're keeping 3 different vehicles going. Why do you do that? What is it that you love about racing?
It's the adrenaline for sure, because you can let your steam off by the end of the track. You just feel so much better. Mm-hmm. And it's an awesome feeling to have great friends and family that you can call family. You meet so many new people that are so down to earth. And honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world, because we're showing our daughter that she can do something. Mm-hmm. She loves it.
Right.
So she'd rather be outside working on her car with us instead of inside playing games.
Yeah. And I love that. And I've interviewed a lot a lot of women and girls, a lot of girls, younger girls. And one of the things I hear over and over is it's from all of them, no matter what age, it's about the people. It's the race family that I've made, which we all say that. And I just had this conversation with someone that no other sport that I know of, because my kids were in all kinds of sports. Do you have the family feeling that you have with racing? I can't explain it. If you're not in it, you don't get it.
Mm.
And even young girls say it's about the friends I've made, the relationships I've made with people, you know. And I love seeing like the younger girls, like your daughter. She's spending time with her family, not inside sitting in front of the TV.
Right.
And you know, it doesn't matter if it's racing or not. Get out there and do something with your kids and find something that you can all enjoy. So, you know,
the thing too is, I think like we're a society where we look up to people that are famous, and we look up to people on TV, and you know, the people that have made a name for themselves. Right. And in racing, there's no green room, there's no special backstage area. You're all in the pits together.
Yeah.
And there's been, I mean, the people that are on Street Outlaws are accessible. Arnie the Farmer Baswick has been at GLD and in the pits, and you can go up to him and talk to him and say hi. They're real people.
Yeah.
And it's cool for anybody, for adults and kids alike, to see that we're people and we're just doing something that we're passionate about and that we absolutely love.
Yeah, I saw a farm truck in Asian at PRI. They're my two favorites, I have to tell you. And I got my picture with them, you know, and they were super nice. The farm truck just didn't talk to me for the longest time. It was super cool. And he was just, you know, he's just like any other guy who likes racing. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So let's see. We got some more comments here. Okay. Chris says what he loves about racing is the friends and the grilled food. Of course, a man, he's all about the food. And Mike says you should ask Michelle about our starting line conversation. So hold that thought, Michelle. I'm going to ask you that. And then Chris said, these girls make a new friend every time they go to the track. I love that. That's what I'm all about. Meeting new women, making new friends. So that's pretty cool. All right, Michelle, what's the starting line conversation?
You know, it's, I don't even think that I made a comment I posted about the weekend, and I just said I'm really glad that my helmet is not mic'd, because people wouldn't understand. It's song lyrics, it's funny like noises to each other, because you can't take yourself too seriously. And I get so tunnel vision when I'm up there that sometimes I just need to take a breath and I forget to do that. Yeah. So right as, you know, he's getting me into the beams and in that nice sticky spot, there's always something just to cool me off a little bit.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's good, because, you know, pretty much everybody I talk to has a routine for when right before they race. It's either how they put their seatbelts on, or what do they wear, or just something that they say to themselves. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, Jenny, what has been your proudest moment in racing? Either proudest moment or most memorable moment?
I would actually have to say the number one now is being able to ride side by side with my husband over the weekend.
That's so awesome.
That is like by far the best memory ever.
And hopefully there was a photographer there that got pictures of all that.
Yes, all our friends, everyone was there. There's actually a guy who takes pictures at 66 who drove up just to get us.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was just priceless, you know.
Yeah, very nice. That's a lifetime memory right there.
Absolutely.
So Michelle, how about you? Most memorable or proudest moment?
Oh man, this is tough. You know, I think it's like with every win or loss, there's always something to take away from it and some great memory to be made. Uh-huh. Like this weekend was awesome. Every time I get to race and friends and family are there, it's cool to bring them into this world and show them just how awesome it is. Mm-hmm. So the wins are cool, but even just like having people there in the stands and watching and being interested in the sport, it's important. I mean, the fans are, you know, what keep a lot of these places alive too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, really most of the tracks I go to, it's not about how many cars there are because they all have pretty good car counts, but the people in the stands, you know, you've got to have something special to get people there, or you've got to take somebody there who's never gone. Yeah. That's what I always tell people. You know, if you can find somebody every week to take with you who's never seen any kind of racing, just take them once, let them experience it, because more times than not, they're going to go back because it gets in
even like the no prep events that are picking up steam and they're all over. Those are, I mean, people are showing up in the stands. They're packing the stands because they don't know who they're going to see there, and it's exciting racing. Yeah. So when you take the track down to nothing, you have to make sure that your machine is going to get you down. And it's a total, I think, fair playing field. Once you're out there, you got to drive whatever you brought. So, I mean, it's just cool to see the stands so packed with so many people just interested.
Yeah, and that just makes you want to run all that much better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You do that much better for the fans because they're supporting you, and then you're like, well, I've got to really give them a good show now because they all came out, you know. So,
and even if it isn't the best show, it still is that you're out there doing it. You're out there trying. Like, I know there've been so many times that maybe like I shouldn't have been in a race, but that's how you gain experience, you know. Like, it's all a mindset. Anything can happen. Right. So why not try?
Right. Exactly. Jenny, did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, and two is I know there's a lot of females out there that want to race, just scared. And like I tell them all the time, you can do it. Anyone can do this. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. It only takes one pass and then you're addicted.
Yes.
You know, it's just one pass and just, it's new to you. It takes time.
Yeah.
You know, like for any woman, start in a streetcar, start on, you know, a slower bike. It's only going to go as fast as you're allowing it to go. And if you're safe and smart about it, you're going to be fine. Try it. You'll love it.
Right.
Yeah. You know, when I first had the vision for this International Women's Motorsports Association, my thought was that everybody has a story. And I kind of talked about this on Friday night at the event, that every one of you women have a story. I mean, the guys do too, but we hear about theirs more often. And so my goal was to not have the famous people in the magazine or on the radio show or on Facebook, although, you know, there's room for them too. But my goal was to share the stories of the people who never would get in a magazine or on the radio show, who are just, you know, there's women all over the country that are drag racing, circle track racing, motorcycle racing, and you don't know who they are and you don't know where they are or their stories. And I have met the coolest women, and including the two of you, just the coolest women that have the best stories. And then I feel like, wow, I've got new friends. So tonight I already kind of knew Jenny, but we've never met in person. But now Michelle, I feel like, okay, now I've got two more new friends. You know, Friday night, I met a whole bunch of ladies. It's not just about, but I love sharing those stories and getting those women just a little bit of, you know, we say that we connect and celebrate women in motorsports. So connecting is an easy thing for me. Celebrating, I love the story. So, you know, that's why we do it. So I'm going to ask both of you, if you had a little girl or a mom come up to you and say, hey, my little girl thinks she wants to race, what would be your advice? What would you say?
Jenny, you're a mom. You take this one first.
I am all for it, but deep down inside, you have to make sure that they're ready. And that's why we waited, like with our daughter Ruby, until last year when she turned 9 to put her in a car. Just so they are able to do, you know, realize that, hey, it's dangerous.
Right.
And they can work the pedals and realize what is actually going on.
Yeah.
But I am all for it, you know. Take them out in the backyard, stick them in a go-kart, a dirt bike, anything. Just get them involved.
Yeah. Good advice. Good advice. Michelle, what do you think?
I say go for it. There are a lot of little kids, especially at the track, that even just want to come over and say hello. And I think a lot of people have this preconceived notion that you have to know somebody to get into this sport, and it's not that. I knew, I didn't grow up around it, so and I got into it later in life. I say go for it. It's like any hobby, any interest. There's a way into it, and it builds character, it builds confidence, it builds a lot of things, and I think having those things for youth especially is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's winning and losing. It's a good way to teach kids how to be gracious losers, as well as gracious winners, because sometimes being a good winner is harder than being a good loser.
Yes.
There's just been, the girls that I've talked to they seem so much more mature. Even the young ones, the ones that are in racing, just seem to have a little bit of maturity about them that you don't expect from someone maybe their age. And, they're learning about how to fix a car and how to do, mechanical things that typically it would be the brothers out in the garage. And the dads and the daughters are bonding over racing. And I just love the whole aspect of what racing does for families, I guess. My 14-year-old granddaughter races. She's raced 5 or 6 years. She raced quarter midgets. My other granddaughter did too. And their whole family, our whole family is part of racing. And I absolutely love it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. So what are your goals for your racing career? Is this what you want to do, on the weekends? Do you have any aspirations for anything else?
You want to go, Michelle?
Go ahead, take it.
My goal is to be in a Nitro funny car.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That's my goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. I would love that.
My daughter already said when she turned 16, she wants to be in a big dragster or even a funny car. And I'm like, no, not before Mom, you won't.
Yeah, there you go. There is a pecking order, right? Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, what about you?
I'm just having fun, running the races that I am currently, and I guess in anything, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
It's fun to travel and see other parts of the country and see other tracks. I've gotten to race in Texas and Florida and ride around in Georgia and ride around all over the Midwest. So I don't know what's yet to come, and I don't know for sure what avenue I want to take with it, but for right now, I'm having a blast doing what we're doing.
Okay, well, that's good. So what do your friends think of you racing, Michelle?
A lot of my friends are racers.
All right.
Or we ride together. So that, it is what it is. As much as I don't love that saying, that's how it is. But like my students, that always kind of takes them aback. When I first started working at the school I'm at currently, it was, well, you race? Really? So I think, there's not necessarily like a face or a shape that goes with drag racing. Mm-hmm. I think, like women like Jenny and myself and so many other women that race, we let people know that it's us.
Yeah.
We're underneath the helmets, and, by day we might be, doing some other hobby that we love. So.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And Jenny, what about you? Are all your friends racers or your coworkers? I know you own a business, so what do people say that about you racing?
Well, like Michelle, most of our friends are racers or they're involved in some kind of motorcycle or something. My husband owns his own business, which customizing race cars or motorcycles. It's a challenge because I go to work and it's professional, and they look at me like, you race that big old car. You short little person. I'm like, yeah, what? Who cares? But I mean, everyone they're like shocked and they love it. They're like, that is so awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, and I've had some people say to me, they just don't believe it. Then they think it's, like what they see on TV. Oh, is it NASCAR? No. I think the Street Outlaws has helped people understand at least a little bit more about drag racing. But yeah, it's pretty fun to see reactions. So, okay, let's see. Let's see if we got any new messages here. So Jeremy Boyd is one of my newest good buddies. He is the dad to TK. TK is now 9 years old. She started racing at the age of 3.5, ladies.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah, she raced quads. She was a 2-time national champion. She now races mini sprints in Jackson, Michigan, and she's 3 for 3 in her features. So
Nice.
Awesome.
they've become good friends of mine. They spent the weekend at MIS with me, and we had, oh my gosh, even though it rained and it was like so boring about the rain, we met some of the most amazing people that we wouldn't have met had it not rained. So that was cool. They're coming to Chicago this weekend. She's just an amazing little girl, and her dad's awesome. And then Mike says Michelle will get to drive a car this year in a month or so. So Michelle, what's that mean?
So Mike's got a car that was, it's a Camaro. I don't know the specific year, 2000, 2002 maybe. And it was formerly a nitrous car, and now it's going to be a turbo car.
Nice.
So just that switch over takes a little bit of time. I think too long.
That's awesome.
I got there. I want to see him cruising it and racing it again. He says I'm going to be in it. I've never raced a car before, so I'm more comfortable on 2 wheels. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. I think if you can race a motorcycle, you could surely race a car.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you started with the hard part, and then
Yes.
So yeah, please try the car. Maybe you'll like.
We'll give it a whirl.
Yeah, exactly. So, what else do you do outside of racing? So, like, do you volunteer? Where do you work? Do you have a business? Tell us about it. So we'll start with you, Michelle. I know you're a teacher.
7th grade teacher. So school just let out for the school year about 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah. And I'll be teaching a camp innovation, like a science camp kind of thing, in a couple weeks. I'm into fitness and cooking and baking. That takes up a lot of my time outside of school. School's time consuming.
My daughter's a 4th grade teacher. I get it.
Yeah, and I mean, just adventuring. Like, Wisconsin is a very diverse state when it comes to the landscape. Yeah. And at the very top of our state, we have 21 islands, and it's absolutely gorgeous to camp up there. And there's a lot of historical
great places here. Motorcycle.
Yeah, we do a lot of adventuring on 2 wheels. So, like Little Bohemia is where part of the a gangster movie. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, with John Dillinger. But like, we cruised up there to check it out and adventure around. The North Woods is beautiful to ride. So just all over the area on 2 wheels, 4 wheels, camping.
Yeah, sounds like a good summer.
Yeah, I just got into riding dirt bikes.
Oh, okay.
That's been an adventure. It's very, very different from riding a street bike, and I am good at getting completely filthy muddy, falling over.
Just don't get hurt so that you can keep racing on the weekend. Yeah,
that's right.
Awesome. So Jenny, how about you? What do you do as far as work? What do you do? Volunteer? What do you like to do?
I work at ComEd in finance, so, a normal week for me is 45, 50, come home, take care of the family, working in the shop,
Yeah.
It's very time consuming because we're trying to build a hauler as well on top of all the racing. So with my husband, you'll know if you ask any of our friends, he has at least 2 to 3 projects going on all the time.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So all our free time's in the shop if it's not at the track, but.
Yeah. And he owns his own business. Why don't you give him a shout? Since he lost, we could at least, promote his business. What's the name of it?
It's Prison City Customs.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So check out Prison City Customs. That's Joe. You can also find him on Garage Squad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love that show. My husband records it, so We're all about those channels there at the Russell household.
Awesome.
So
pass the word on.
Yeah, exactly. So Jeanette gave us a smiley face. We must be doing good. And Jeanette says Public Enemies. I'm not sure what that means.
That's the movie that I was trying to think of the name.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris says Public Enemies, Michelle. And then
I should know these things.
And then Jeanette says with a Hemi, LOL. So that's pretty fun. So ladies, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to give you each, a chance to kind of wrap up your part of the show. Tell us anything else you want to share, and where you're going to be racing. How can people find you if they want to find out where you're going to be racing, that kind of thing. So Jenny, let's start with you.
I just want to thank everyone for all their hard work that they do and in making all our dreams come true. Especially a big shout out to my husband who makes my dream and our daughters come true. Yeah. He's the biggest. I can't even explain how thankful we are of him, but you can find us. I'm always at the Grove. My daughter's at 66, but you can find my husband, Joe Zopron as Public Figure, Prison City Customs, or myself. And we're always posting stupid stuff or funny stuff just to get everyone to laugh.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And Michelle, what about you?
Huge thanks to Car Chicks and Jeanette always for just letting the voice be heard for, women in racing and organizing these races, especially here in the Midwest. That's huge. They're, it's awesome. Chris, for getting me into this sport and being so incredibly patient with me. Now he's helping me push myself as a rider and also the bike to its fullest potential. Mike always lining me up. Induction Solutions for your important Go Fast parts that I've got on the bike. I can be found on Facebook, and then the schedule, we run the bigger bike events like COTS. Great Lakes Dragway holds that twice a year, and then the WIR page, Wisconsin International Raceway.
Okay.
So they've got their race nights that we're at, and we run our series there.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, ladies, I just want to tell you, first of all, this has been one of the best shows we've had. It's been so fun. When I lost my guest earlier in the day, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I was thinking I was going to have to go it alone, and that wasn't a very happy thought. And so Jeanette said, hey, I got a couple ladies from the weekend. You were so gracious to get on and let me throw some questions at you and tell about what you did over the weekend. I appreciate it so much. I promise there are brownies going to be on the way. Make sure I have it. And I'm probably going to have to send Jeanette something too, since she hooked me up with you. So thank you so much, you guys. I'll be following you on Facebook like I have been, watching what you're doing. Make sure you post to the International Women's Motorsports Association Facebook page. Go to racinggirlsrock.com. We have a new little tagline. You can go to racinggirlsrock.com, put your email address in. You'll get the magazine every month. You can join the association there. Spread the word. We want to grow our association to be the largest association for women in motorsports in the world. So that's our goal. So thank you so much, ladies. I loved having you on the show. I'm going to meet both of you soon. I promise. Jenny, I promise.
Thank you a ton, too. Thank you so much for giving us all a voice out here.
All right, no problem. So thank you, ladies, and thanks everybody for listening. Have a great evening. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.